Day 3 here at the NFL Combine. As you can see, we are still in Indianapolis. Look, we got this monument behind us right in the heart of Indianapolis. And the big news today has to do with Myles Garrett. Mary Kay Cabot, you've probably heard of her, finds out today that Myles Garrett and his camp are not interested in an extension with the Cleveland Browns. And Mary Kay, obviously, that's important because all along we've been saying, hey, at some point the Browns can just throw a bunch of money at Myles, a huge contract, and say, are you sure that you want to be traded? And at least today here on Thursday at the Combine, the answer is, I don't care. I don't want the money. Trade me.
Right. Quite often when someone says it's not about the money, it turns out to be about the money. But in this case, Myles and his camp are not open to an extension. And I know that Andrew Berry and the Browns would like to sign him to a blockbuster deal that makes him the highest paid defensive player in the NFL. And now we're hearing, no, that's not what we want. We want out. So Myles is holding firm to that. The Browns are holding firm to their position that they will absolutely not trade him. So there's a standoff coming.
Yeah, and Ashley, again, we've talked about how unless the Browns waver here in the next few weeks, this could extend into the spring, into the summer, into the season, and this was kind of the first step towards that happening.
Yeah, I'm now kind of wondering just how ugly is this going to get and for how long, because at the same time, I'm also like, okay, but when he sees a number, will that change his mind? Like, you do have to wonder, because it truly is not over until it is over. And I bring up the example of the Deshaun Watson trade all the time. The Browns were out of it, and then all of a sudden, the deciding factor certainly became all that guaranteed money. So I do wonder, though, now with hearing that he's not open to the extension, just how long is this going to drag out? And obviously, like, what is the resolution to all this going to be?
Yeah, I mean, look, if you see the number 200 million, let's say, that's a pretty big number to turn away from. Now, let's talk about the draft. Of course, today we heard from one of the most intriguing prospects in this draft, Travis Hunter, the wide receiver, cornerback, who is speaking as a defensive back, working as a defensive back this weekend. He'll also do some wide receiver drills. And Mary Kay, he said today he 100% wants to play both sides of the football.
He really does. And that's kind of a big ask because no one's ever done it before. But he says, I'm different. I can do it. And of course, we saw him do it at Colorado. We saw him do it at Jackson State. But can he do it in the pros? He thinks he can. He says there's more breaks in the NFL, but we'll see. I mean, I suppose you could sort of play part-time receiver and maybe part-time cornerback, but he wants to go full go and play full-time both sides of the football. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, look, the NFL is slower. There's fewer plays. There are more breaks. It's also way more physical than college football. So, Ashley, it would be a challenge, but good for Travis Hunter for wanting to come into the league and not be put in a box.
Yeah, his exact words were, I want to go 100% on both sides, when someone asked if he wanted to start on both sides if given the opportunity. And he did give the caveat that, well, it is partially up to the team that drafts me, but if they ask for my say or what I want, it's that he wants to go full go with both of these things. So they say he's one of one. Kevin Stefanski quipped he's a football player when we asked him about Travis Hunter on Wednesday. So not surprising that he just doesn't want to be pigeonholed, because it seems like so far throughout this whole process, it's what he's been trying to avoid.
Now, we did also hear from tight ends today. That's a position that I'm sure the Browns will be in the market for in the draft and, of course, in free agency. Mary Kay and Ashley, both of you, I know you had a chance to listen to Elijah Arroyo speak today. And, of course, he is a teammate of Cam Ward at the U, so an interesting connection there.
Yes, absolutely. And I got a chance to also watch Elijah Arroyo at the Senior Bowl, and he was amazing there. He was probably one of the biggest standouts at the Senior Bowl, and I was very intrigued by him there, and he really is kind of skyrocketing up draft board. So I'm guessing he's probably going to be a first-round pick. That's what I thought I saw with my own two eyes in Mobile, Alabama. But he loves Cam Ward, had great things to say about Cam Ward, believes he is the best quarterback in this draft and the number one overall pick. So get very interesting.
Yeah, and Ashley, I know you put up a post where there's that connection. We know the Browns have gone to the U before to get a big athletic tight end like Arroyo.
Yeah, and he said when it comes to tight ends, he's tried to model his game after. It's all about those guys from the U, and he listed off David Njoku. So I asked him, what are some of the things you like about his game? He said how aggressive he is, especially getting yards after the catch. And Mary Kay asked him about what would it mean to be teamed up with him. He was really excited about that possibility. And agree with Mary Kay, he just seems like his stock is skyrocketing so far. But the one thing that might help the Browns, this is a pretty deep tight end class, and everyone has him ranked still around 4 or 5 in that position group. So maybe that could work out in the Browns' favor, and he might be available.
And a couple other guys that could be there on day 2. Harold Fannin Jr. from Bowling Green set FBS records this season in catches and yardage for tight ends. So he's an interesting prospect. And Mason Taylor spoke today too, and he is the son of Jason Taylor and nephew of Zach Thomas. So some Hall of Fame bloodlines there for Mason Taylor. So a lot of options for the Browns at tight end if they want to go that direction on day 2. Of course, we're going to cover the draft, but there's still a lot of time left before that, and we'll cover everything that happens with Myles Garrett leading up to the draft, free agency coming soon, all at cleveland.com/Browns.